Hello, dear Nino. You must be so happy because, of course, Air Canada has just put out their results and they are staggering. What a difference a year makes from 22 to 23. And they've included Air Canada Vacations as they did the last time, which is a new way of presenting the financials. So you must be very happy.
Very, very happy, Nina. We're very pleased with the entire company and the direction that it's moving. When I look at Air Canada Vacations, we had a stellar year last year. We actually broke all records. It was the best
Wow.
year in the history of Air Canada Vacations. So yeah, a lot of good, a lot of good. Everyone is feeling pumped up and ready to go because 2024 is here, and
Yeah.
it's there's the competition is fierce, and ACV has to be on top of it.
And you are on top of it because you're actually on top of a map that I see behind you, which is a great segue into the fact that you're now moving into all kinds of new continents. And let's first talk about Asia because that's your mandate, right? To provide support, land, packages, all of those things that go along with everywhere that Air Canada has lift. And I like talk about brilliant, right? Of course you want to do that
Of course.
because Air Canada is an international carrier with a lot of routes. So let's talk about Asia.
Yeah, we looked at Asia, and we knew that it was going to be the next product line that we introduced. We've got tours that range from 6 nights all the way to 13 nights into Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, and we're going to be adding more as we move along. So we're excited about getting that launched. Very excited. But we've also got, you were going to say something. You were probably going to ask me what's next, but
That and before we get to what's next, because of course, yeah, I do want to.
sure.
The part that I find so difficult to wrap my head around is okay, so there's lift. We know there's a plane. It's going to all those destinations. How do you suddenly create land product? To me, that just seems like an impossible task. How do you go about doing that, organizing it, putting the packages together, putting the pricing together, putting it
Uh,
into your system? Like, how long has all of this taken?
and I'll tell you, that is key. The whole process of getting the product. So our product team did a phenomenal job of sourcing out partners on the other side. So we've got destination management companies that are on the other side waiting for our passengers, and typically they're branded. You'll find, when we look at Europe, we started with Europe, and now in five of our most popular destinations, we've actually got branded employees standing there waiting for our customers to come off the plane with our lollipops, and ready
Yeah.
to take them on tour. We're gonna follow the same template for the rest of the globe. It's what we're doing in Asia. Now, at the very beginning, what our customers will see is the rondelle when they get on the ground, so that they
Right.
know, and their names will be on an Air Canada vacation sign. But this is just the beginning. I mean, Australia is actually loaded. It's not all loaded.
Australia? Wait a minute. Australia?
Mhm. So,
Really?
so
Wow.
part of our ambition is we're broadening our horizons, and broadening our horizons to Air Canada Vacations means, as you said, we must have, or we should have, product everywhere Air Canada flies. It's a huge global network, and we've only tapped into some of the smaller markets, the Sun, the US, and Europe now, or the Atlantic, but there's so much more. And that's what our focus is.
Most of us have a fairly good background in terms of which areas, we like, which ones we have an affinity to, whether it's the Mayan or whether it's Montego Bay, whatever. But, Asia, that you don't have the same experience in. But for the consumer, knowing that it's an Air Canada Vacations product and for the trade, obviously, to sell that, I would imagine that there must be a lot of people who will reach out because it's an easy package to sell and there's the confidence of it being Air Canada, a known entity, a known property that they can then rely on.
Yes, absolutely. And Nina, part of what the buying team does is they make sure that we're working with DMCs that are curating the product for the Air Canada Vacations customer. And the service is going to be carried from the minute they book right through until they finish their tour and are brought back to the airport. They'll have guides with them. So the product is it's very, when I look at the template, it's very similar to what we did in Europe. We have guided tours. We're
Mhm.
moving the guided tours to Asia. And what is really neat about this right now is we're finally able to distribute properly because in the past we had products in various systems and we couldn't distribute it the way that we can today. We're in one
Right.
single system now.
Yeah.
And so now these tours that we just launched, they're available in the system. They're available for our trade partners. And we're not trying to be everything to everyone. These tours are the tours. You cannot change them. These are pre-designed tours for our customers. You can add a pre and a post, but the tour is the tour. That's what makes it easy for us and our customers to sell it.
I love the line you used when you moved to the one system. You talked about everything being on the shelf. And that's such a great line. On the shelf, just go and pick what you want, mix and match, and there you go, because it's all been prepackaged, pre-vetted.
And,
Um,
and I tell
yeah.
you,
So let's
that's
talk. Sorry, what were you
yeah,
going to
I
say?
was going to say, and that's what we have been working towards is, you've got good product, but it needs to be on the shelf. I can have all the product I want, but if it's not on the shelf for a
Yeah,
customer access, it's not going
right.
to.
Yeah, I love that, and it just evokes such a one, two, three, easy peasy kind of image in my mind as to how to shop. So you're doing the same thing in Australia down under now, you're saying, right?
Same
Is
thing.
this big news? Have I just hit a scoop?
You just hit the scoop. Yes, you did. Because they only just loaded a few of the tours, so they're live right today. We haven't announced it yet because the final number of tours are going to be loaded in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have a press release go out advising everyone that we've got Australia product. But following that will be India. Following that,
Wow,
we've got Dubai. Like there's so much coming. There's so much coming down the
right. Yeah,
and
huge demand for Dubai still. I'm surprised. It's like, seems like it's hotter than ever with
it,
all
it
of the new hotels they're building.
yeah, very, very, and Dubai is unique because you've got the city, you've
Yeah,
got the marina, and you've got the beach. Like I don't know if you've ever been, but
I
it
have
yeah.
with Air Canada.
Oh, there you go. Good. Yeah, there's a lot to see and do in Dubai.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Now, oftentimes before you launch a product, you test the waters and see whether there's demand. Asia, I think we sort of know the demand has come back. Um, it's because it was pent up demand anyway, and it's very popular. How do you know you're going to get the business for Australia, for India, for Dubai, all of these places that you don't necessarily have the history with? Like, I think from year to year, you can sort of predict what the sun's going to do. And Europe, obviously, Canadians love going to Europe every summer.
Great
How do you
question.
know?
Great question. Because, and I'll use myself as an example. Okay. Italian background. I had never gone to Italy.
What?
The best way for me to go to Italy was to do a tour. Like, my parents are in Canada. I grew up in Canada, but my heritage is from Italy. So the very and this is the truth. The very first time I went to Italy, I did a tour. So you're looking at large populations within Canada that maybe haven't been to their mother country yet,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and this is what we're hoping to be able to tap into.
Is that it wouldn't be necessarily defined as VFR traffic, but it has that element to it that it's just it's ethnicity based, I suppose, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so where are you not covering yet? I mean, is this everything? You've got South America
South, it's we've got it.
to a
We're
lesser
pretty good.
degree. You're
And
starting,
we're starting. You'll find that we'll have tours into Brazil soon. It's like the team is currently one by one checking off, where Air Canada flies and making sure that we have tours. Now, obviously, if there's just a city product, then we'll just offer flight and hotel into the city if there's no tour options.
right?
But that's in the box today. We today have flight and hotel everywhere Air Canada flies, everywhere, and thousands of hotel choices.
It's funny, you told me that years ago that was the plan, that was the mandate. And I thought, oh my God, yeah, what a, dream. Like that's not going to happen overnight. And here you are. You're making it happen. It's all coming to fruition. So I'm impressed. You're going to change your name to Air Global Vacations?
Hey, I'm just happy that we've got the team that we have here at Air Canada Vacations. We're working very closely with Air Canada Network Planning and Revenue Management. Like the
Cool.
company, we're so well integrated and working together that it makes it so easy for us to be rolling out these new products. It really does.
You
It really,
know,
really does.
in another lifetime of mine, I worked for a tour operator that was associated with an airline which no longer exists. That was, I think, absorbed into Air Canada. And so the tour operator was sort of like the poor little cousin, to the airline. It was like, yeah, whatever. And I think ACV may have suffered a little bit of that, a decade ago, but it's
Yes.
so nice
Yeah.
to see you playing with the big boys and being at the table with the big boys and being taken seriously as a support to the air because you can fill seats for God's sake, right?
So absolutely. And being able to get more seats or give seats back when you need. If we're selling, if our sales are doing great, we'll go get more seats. If we're not doing so great and Air Canada's selling more on the air only side, we'll give them some of the seats back so that they can continue to sell. Like that's how close we work today.
But with some of the more popular destinations, are you getting any buying or however, whatever the right term is at risk for some Europe? Because I know last year there was higher demand than there was availability
Yeah.
at a certain point.
We um we've got blocks, we've got seats. Now, of course, the closer you get to departure, it's very different from the sun, where there's all this extra capacity and the prices drop. Europe or the Atlantic is very different.
Okay.
The closer you get to departure, the higher the price goes. So it's why we came out with an early Europe EBB months ago. We're on our second phase or tier of EBBs now.
Right.
And I'll tell you, our trade partners are doing a wonderful job of supporting us because we're up double-digit growth, big double-digit growth.
You're talking
Um,
about Europe for this coming
Europe,
summer over
yes,
last summer?
yes.
Holy cow, because last summer we did well.
Summer was good, but Nina, I think what happened was in 2023, a lot of people they did the Atlantic, but a lot of people went to the sun because they hadn't been able to get to the sun. So all of the sun operators, we all had a stellar year. But now what's happened is, okay, they've done sun. Now they want to include Europe, and they are. I mean, we're seeing, and I'm going to knock on wood, um, but we're seeing those sales come through. So it's good, and I can't thank our trade partners enough because their support is invaluable to us, honestly.
Congratulations, Nino. I know you worked so hard to make this happen ever since you started at ACV in your role. So I'm very happy for you. And I'm obviously pleased to hear that business is doing as well as it is because it means the advisors are doing well and they're seeing the traffic because that's ultimately who your clients are, right?
We want everyone to be able to make money. We want everyone to be happy. We focus. We focus as much as we can on the train.
Yeah.
We'll have training sessions for Asia and Australia, following the Australia news release. Sales will start getting on the road, and we'll have training sessions, webinars to make sure that everyone understands the products and so forth. And you know, we have so much more coming down the pipeline. I can't wait to come back and share.
Well, I can't wait to hear as well. Thank you so much. And I know the advisors love your training sessions. So I always get good feedback on those. So anyway,
The team does a great
wonderful to
job.
chat with you. I wish
You
it were
too.
in person, but we'll do that again soon.
Yes, thank you.